and welcome down to episode number 88 of the Down South Photo Show. 88's got a nice ring to it. With me, Brendan Waits here in Ocean Grove, Victoria, Australia, and the guy on the other screen or in your other ear if you are listening to the podcast. It's Cam Blake in Hobart, Tasmania. Good evening, Cameron.
Good evening, Brendan, from all the way down here in Tasmania, because apparently we're still not part of Australia. Every time you do the intro, you're from Ocean Grove, Australia, and I'm from Tasmania. Apparently we're not. I can understand why people get pissed off down here because you keep leaving us off the map.
Victoria, Australia. That's right. Exactly.
That's better. Yeah, that's better. I'm going well. Just
ever since you were left off the map in the 1984 82 Commonwealth Games in Brisbane.
Yeah. Well, you've up stages now in Victoria. You just cancelled the whole games altogether.
yeah. Like we're not going to leave. Cares about the Commonwealth Games.
We're not going to leave. We're not going to leave one person off the map. We're taking everyone off the map. We've just given up.
I love how everyone was like, nobody cares about the Commonwealth Games. Why are we ever hosting them? What? You've cancelled the Commonwealth Games?
That's right.
Oh my God, the sky is falling. Get stuff.
It's been a bit of an overreaction, hasn't it?
Complete and utter. Anyway, we're not political, nor are we sporting, and we are recording this on a night when there's no cricket on. So that's a win for
or soccer. No, or soccer.
Or soccer, true. The Soccer World Cup is in full swing here in Australia for those listening overseas.
Now, for people listening without visualizing, they're probably going to notice that we just sound amazing.
Like we have upped our game, and it's amazing the technological advancement that we made to upping our game, wasn't it?
It was. We have taken 88 episodes to realize that if you just move your microphone a little bit closer to you, you sound a hell of a lot better. And
we are clearly photographers, not audio technicians, are we?
No, we so for those watching, you'll see there's a microphone in the screen here. Yes. So we actually look like we're doing a podcast now.
That's right. I can put mine right here.
That's amazing. You sound like our good friend Bevan. That's who you sound like.
That's right. No, I'm trying to sort of. I've always thought I'd make a good cricket commentator. So I'd like to have, and they have the mic right. They have it like over their mouth.
They have it right underneath. Yeah.
They do.
Tell you what,
that's why they sound so good.
You have a great face for radio.
Thank you. I absolutely do have a good head for radio. There's no question about it. I am also fashioning the Down South Photo Show hoodie tonight.
You are?
The grey one.
Yes.
So if you can't see that because you're listening to us, we have merch available on the DSPS on dsps.com.au. Go and buy a hoodie if you want to, or don't. We don't really care. We don't really mind. It's not that we don't care. It's that we don't mind.
I saw a funny post on Facebook the other day. I like Land Rovers, and it was on a Land Rover thing, and it said something on there like, we don't care about how you feel about this. So if you've got nothing good to say, don't say it at all. And the first thing I wrote back saying, well, clearly you do care because you've put up there that it's affecting you running this group. So
yes.
So yeah, we do care, but like, it's no skin off our nose if you buy a hoodie or don't buy a hoodie.
That's right. We don't mind.
If you want to represent, feel free.
Even if you just want to swing by the website and see what it's all about, knock your socks off. We appreciate it. We appreciate all of our listeners, all 583 of you that have subscribed via the YouTube channel. Thank you very much. We always appreciate people who hit the subscribe button and then tickle our bell. That's lovely of you.
We noticed, didn't you? You said something yesterday about the fact that not everyone that listens is subscribed.
45% of people who watching this YouTube channel right now are not subscribed. 45% of you. So
that means three people haven't subscribed.
That's right. Don't make us beg. Hit the subscribe button.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder. Like, I must admit, when you said that to me today, I went away and I went, "Well, do I subscribe to YouTube channels?" I only subscribe to a few.
Yeah.
Ben Horn is one. Our mate Ben Horn from beautiful America. And there's a couple of the Petapixels or the DP review guys. I used to subscribe to them. So I guess maybe we're just not entertaining enough for people to go, I just need to know when these guys drop another video.
Okay, well, this is where you and I differ because I subscribe to about 140 channels. So
right.
I'm a YouTube fiend. I love YouTube. I don't think I've watched mainstream TV other than sport literally for a decade. It's been and in fact, that'd be about right. I reckon it was 2014 when I first really got hooked on the YouTube genre. And started following channels that, because you can really hone your interests, right? So it's
Yeah.
it's proper interactive TV. You don't have to.
But 140
Yeah,
interests.
but I think it all came about because if I saw one more freaking reality TV show in 2014, I was going to scream.
Yeah.
Survivor this and Big Brother that and get stuff.
Love
whatever.
Island and all those
Oh,
ones.
for God's sake, Cameron. I can't wait to record that show just so I can tape over it.
Here you go. Here's something I'll put out to our people that are listening that haven't subscribed. If you're one of these people that actually watch any of those shows on TV, bugger off. We don't want you subscribing.
That's right. Leave now.
Leave now.
Yeah,
don't let the door.
Yeah, we just had one person leave us. Never mind. That's fine.
That's okay.
Little homework. The weather photo comp on the Facebook page, the People's Choice part of that.
Yes.
We are looking to wrap that up on the 31st of July, which is Monday. So
last weekend.
If you're on the audio side of this, today's the last day for you. If you're on the YouTube channel, you've got 3 more days to vote on the Facebook page. So there's a link in the description, or you can just go to our Facebook page. It's the pinned post at the top where you can vote for one of the 5 that we shortlisted for the Weather Photo Comp as your People's Choice Award.
It's going well. We have we have one photo at the moment that's just in front of another photo.
Okay.
Oh, actually, there's a few more. So it's going to be close.
We're not going
to be close, and I don't know if it's going to be who we thought it was going to be.
Okay. Well, I think people know who we thought it was going to be because that was the person we gave the prize to. But let's see what happens.
Have you given him that prize, or we just forgot about that?
I have contacted Barry. Barry it was, wasn't it? Yeah,
Barry.
I've contacted Barry. I haven't
yeah.
heard back from you, Barry, but that's fine. The $200 voucher for you is sitting there ad infinitum, so you can just use it whenever you want to use it, mate.
I know what he's doing. He's waiting for inflation to keep going up.
Or he might be waiting for us to announce another workshop.
Oh, maybe.
Segue.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Thank you.
That was probably the best segue you've ever done in your life, I reckon.
Thank you, Cameron.
Did you rehearse that?
We are here to announce another workshop. We are not.
Yes.
Okay, full disclosure. We never started this channel to sell stuff. It's just evolved that way. There is interest in Cameron and I running workshops. This has been proven by the fact that we've sold out many workshops already. So we decided it was time that we announced another workshop.
Yeah.
Would you like to do the honors, Cameron?
Yeah, sure. Why not? And I'll marry what you said there as well. This podcast wasn't designed to sell stuff. It was really designed to have a drink and talk about photography. That's really
why you can buy us a beer.
That's why you can buy us a beer, which again, so we're conscious that, everyone's going through, the interest rates are going up, inflation's out of control, everything's going nuts. So that's why we're conscious of that. So we don't want to stick workshops down your throat. But this is a workshop that Brendan and I have been actually talking about for quite a few years that we should do together. And it makes sense to do it because Brendan lives just around the corner from it. So next year in May, on May 26th to May 30th, we're going to run our very first Great Ocean Road workshop. So for everyone knows the Great Ocean Road, it's an amazing part of the world, and it's a photographer's wet dream, and sometimes even more than a wet dream. If you get too close to the edge of the waves and the waterfalls, you can get saturated. But so May 26th to the 30th, it's going to be 4 days and 5 nights. We're going to base ourselves at Apollo Bay. Yet to be determined exactly where we're going to stay, but we're going to find some really nice accommodation.
No. It's going to be a tent and a paddock, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I thought we could just sleep in the background here somewhere.
Absolutely. You have got a nice background there. We'll talk about that in a second.
We'll talk about that in a second. We're going to limit this to 8 places. So our Murray Mallee workshop has sold out with 8 people. The Tarkine to Cradle workshop that we're doing next year as well only has 1 spot left. And the Great Ocean Road one, we're expecting this will sell fairly well as well. Fairly well as well. Is that
fairly well as well? No, that was good alliteration. I liked it.
Yeah. And the cost is for the 5 days, it's going to be $3,895, which is a dead set bargain. That's going to cover everything: accommodation, food, transfers. You'll get to hang out with us for a couple of days. We'll buy you a beer. We'll even bring some hoodies along, hats, the whole lot. We'll do the whole thing. But do you want to maybe quickly scratch over where we're going to go and take shots? Because this is definitely your backyard, not mine.
Yeah, absolutely. So areas that we're going to include, first of all, we're kicking off in Apollo Bay. Now, for those of you who know Apollo Bay, you'll know straight away that that in itself could be a 5-day workshop right there, because it is a stunning stretch of coastline. So we're going to start Apollo Bay. We head up above Apollo Bay into the beautiful Otway Ranges, where we will be able to photograph the Otways for a start, but we're going to hone in on the waterfalls up there, Beauchamp Falls, Hopetoun Falls, which are the two big waterfalls that a lot of people go to up there. The reason a lot of people go to them is because they're freaking so photogenic. So awesome. Looking forward to that. There's also a place up there called the Redwood Forest, which we'll visit as well. The Redwood Forest, you can get lost in for hours taking photos.
That road, is it the Otways Forest Road or something like that? What's that road
that's
called?
Right.
It is that we went there last year when I was sort of scouting around a bit, and I reckon I could have spent a week in that road
easily.
It is really, and I come from a place that's got some pretty good forests. That's got to be up there with some of the best as well. So
yes. So following on from that, we're also going to tackle Cape Otway itself, down to the Cape Otway Lighthouse, Blanket Bay, which is a stunning little part of the coastline. All through the Otways, there's wildlife for Africa, not actually African wildlife, but good old Aussie wildlife. Look, I don't want to make an ironclad guarantee that you're going to photograph a koala, but I'm here to make an ironclad guarantee we'll find you a koala to photograph. So I think
stuffed or moving, doesn't matter.
That's right.
If you can't find one, we'll bring a toy.
So Cape Otway is littered with brilliant photographic opportunities. So we'll be doing that. I am optimistic that we might have enough people who are interested in doing a bit of a walk from Cape Otway to Eyre River as part of one leg of the Great Ocean Walk, but we will see the level of fitness and things that people who sign up to this, and of course you're under no obligation to do that stretch, but we will work that out when we get there. That is a gorgeous stretch of coastline as well. Eyre River itself, Jesus, this could take all night, but we don't want
to give too much away though.
No, that's right, and we haven't even gotten to the
Port Campbell and stuff.
Exactly. So we're and then we head down to Port Campbell, the 12 Apostles, naturally, Lockhart Gorge, the Grotto, London Bridge, Port Campbell itself, which is a gorgeous little town.
It's nice.
Yeah.
So we're pretty much going to cover everything between Apollo Bay and Port Campbell. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. So. It's on the website as we speak now. We'll put a link in the show notes. I will, because Brendan will most likely forget to put it in the show notes. Yes. We'll put a link in the show notes. So go have a look. It's 8 places only. It'll sell. It'll sell well, we think. So if you want to come along, have a great 5 days along the Great Ocean Road. Now people might say, why the hell are you doing this in May? There's a couple of reasons why we're doing it in May, because one, summer is either too hot or too busy, and you just get really harsh light all day. For the rainforest and the waterfalls, May is going to be a really beautiful time. There'll be fungi and macro opportunities, things like that. And generally in May, you get some bit more wild weather along that coastline, which means you're going to get some really cool big waves crashing on rocks and all that kind of stuff. So we think it's a really good time to go down there, and we hope that people may want to join us. Are you having a hearing issue there, Brendan?
No, just for some strange reason, one of my AirPods is about half a second behind the other one. So I'm getting this beautiful echo effect. So I've had to take them
awesome.
out.
Fair enough.
All right. It's fine.
It'll be on the website.
Difficulties,
It'll be on the website. It'll be on Facebook. We'll chuck it up there as well. Of course, if you've got any questions, drop a line and we can answer them for you.
Yeah. And now when it comes to the genres of photography we're going to cover, obviously landscape will be first and foremost. Probably 80% of this is going to be landscape, but we are also going to visit a couple of areas, as Cam alluded to, that'll be great for macro, and wildlife. We love our macro photography. And as always, if we get the right lighting conditions, I will do my ever popular impromptu portrait photography, natural light portrait workshop as well.
Yeah. And again, if you want to go one step bigger than that, if the conditions are up there, you can see the aurora from the Great Ocean Road.
Wow!
So
now you're promising a lot.
I'm not promising that at all. I would never promise that. There is one going on tonight and tomorrow night. It seems to be kicking off. But yeah, so that's the Great Ocean Road workshop. We'd love you if you wanted to come along and join us. Limited to 8 people. We'll travel in a minibus. We'll have a lot of fun. Yep. You'll learn a heap of stuff about landscape photography and everything really in general for photography. So get on it, folks. Hope to see you there.
We'll talk your ears off about photography. So I'm really excited I'm excited about all our workshops. The Mallee one being where I grew up, and now the Great Ocean Road one where I live. So, really excited about that. And as Cam said, we like to think we bring a fair bit of experience and good value for money. So go ahead, sign up, check out all the notes. Hit us up with any questions if you want. We're here to help you.
Yeah, sweet.
Backgrounds?
What are we doing? Backgrounds. You want to go? You go first.
Okay. So this was today. So
today?
This was, so not 4 hours ago, I suppose. Yeah, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Point Lonsdale, my muse, my favorite. If I'm ever stuck for a spot to take photos, I just head to Point Lonsdale. I hand on heart, I went over there. I actually went to work on my golf game at the local golf course over there and just had a bit of a practice session for 45 minutes. On the way back, I was going to pick up the kids from the school bus, and I thought, you know what? I bet you the beach is looking good. I'll go and have a quick look. Of course, not a camera in sight, but an iPhone in pocket. This is shot with the iPhone on long exposure mode. And like the compositions over there, the surf was rolling in. It was great. So I was really happy to get some water lapping around those rocks. So that is Point Lonsdale. That's my background this week.
Nice little background you've got to live around, isn't it?
Oh, look, it is good. Have you noticed there's a theme through our backgrounds, though? It's generally I've got a beach and you've got a forest.
Yeah, it does. And it's funny you say that because I've consciously started saying to myself, I need to do more coastal stuff.
Yeah.
I live on a bloody island. There's coast everywhere. I don't know. For me, I think it's where I sort of grew up, like in Brighton, the mountains and stuff like that. I've always enjoyed the mountains and forests, but I need to branch out a bit and do a bit more coastal. But having said that, my shot is sort of in my backyard, but about 4 hours away. So I actually took this shot a few years ago, but I just came up on my feed today somewhere, and I thought, I like that shot. And
so did you heed our advice of last week's episode? And
I did a bit, yes.
You've already taken the best photo ever. You just didn't realize
just haven't found it on my hard drive yet.
That's right.
So this is up in the northeast forests. It's in a really amazing place up near Mount Cameron, one of the best mountains in Tasmania. And it's just this beautiful mossy forest with I think they're like tea trees. They're not anything too special in regards to the trees, but it's the green moss and the fog and all that working together sort of stopped me in my tracks. And I actually got out my 5x4-inch film camera and took a shot of this as well on some Velvia film. But yeah, it's a beautiful spot. You can explore these little forests. There's some giant myrtle trees close by to this spot as well, which I checked out. So you can actually get up there and spend a whole day walking around these forests, and just work. The conditions were good. The fog was good. Composition's not great, but it still works. Just the distance and the depth with the fog is what I liked in it, and I needed something a bit more interesting as that foreground apart from just the trees. But it works.
The foreground's awesome. It's like a carpet. It's the texture in it's really cool.
It was really tricky to shoot in a way because like everywhere you walked, you sunk into this moss.
Oh, wow.
And I was trying to be ultra sensitive about not just stomping everywhere. So I sort of walked around the outside of this forest bit and sort of came in from the back end of it. And it worked, but getting out of there was a nightmare. My feet were saturated. It was like leeches all over me and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it was good. So,
speaking of last week's episode 87, lots of great feedback. So once again, we say it every week. Thank you for your feedback on our episodes. We love it.
Yeah, we do.
And we charted really well last week.
We did chart. We've charted really well. We almost broke. Well, when we released last week's episode 87, once again, that's not the first time, but once again, we were the most popular or most listened to episode in regards to photography on the visual arts charts in Australia. We ranked in at number 15, I think it was.
Very high.
So everything above that was all paintings and craft and
highest
stuff
rating
like
photography
podcast
in the country.
Yeah, which is nuts. Again, we sort of scratch our head and think how the hell did that happen? How do we do that? So yeah, it's good. So make sure you download the episode on the podcast. If we get into the top 5 one day, that's got to be worth celebrating. I think
time for a celebration. Exactly.
I think
we'll
so.
do that. Episode 100 will rank in the top. It'll be number 1.
Maybe that should be our goal. Episode 100 will rank as the number 1 podcast.
Well, only 12 to go.
I'd like to know stats on how many, like the one that's ranking first.
Yes.
How many downloads? But having a look at that, they're from, some of them are from America, because people obviously in Australia listen to podcasts in America and vice versa.
Yeah, that's right.
So I don't know if we're the highest ranking Australian. I don't think we were. There's another one called Art Wank. It's a great name for a podcast.
Yeah,
that's Australian, but the rest of them all look like they might be American and English and stuff like that.
So that we might have been at one point the highest rated Australian-based visual arts podcast.
Yeah, maybe
run by a guy from Tasmania and a guy from Ocean Grove. I've said that. I say this often.
I reckon if we pull this apart enough, we'll probably be able to make ourselves look really good.
That's right. We are clutching at straws.
We are the only two bearded podcast hosts that ranked in the top 10.
That's right. There we are. Right.
Yes.
There.
Look at that. Absolutely. That's a great looking hoodie.
Let's talk photography and stop all this crap. We're gonna. It's not really I don't know if we've done this before, but we're going.
I don't think we have.
I don't think we have either. And it's fresh in my mind because I've not only did I shoot Point Lonsdale behind me there with my phone, gosh darn it, I went home, I got my camera gear, and I went out on a freaking shoot. And because I looked at the sunset and I'm like, we got something here. Let's go and get this sunset. So I packed all my gear in the van, which is normally in the van anyway. If you see a white van parked somewhere around Ocean Grove, just break into it and steal all my gear. It's in there. There's thousands of dollars worth of photographic equipment in it.
Don't give people that idea, because there'll be some idiot listening. It will.
Don't do that, please. Yeah, so we're gonna do a little what's in our bag currently, and this we should do this like every 50 episodes or something, because it changes, it evolves. This time last year, I had none of this equipment in my bag, like literally. Well, okay, maybe one bit, but it wasn't anything like what I've got now. My kit has evolved yet again.
Yeah, and you're right. Well, I guess for us, and you made a good point on the last episode when we were talking about destroying your camera for the best shot, and you made a good point saying that, we make a living out of selling images, so we can sort of justify that we're going to be able to replace that gear with the sale of the image that would make money. But it's a little bit like this as well with what's in our bag. Like we might replenish or change gear around what would seem to be quite frequent compared to other people who are just doing this as a hobby. So this is by no means a segment where we're saying, hey, you know what, you need to update your gear every 6 months, just so you can you work with what you've got, and that's the main thing. But we have a general tendency to buy shit we don't need. I do. And then you look back and go, my God, how do I have all these cameras on my desk, and what the hell, I don't use half of them.
That's right. Like that. We are all, you and I are both guilty of gear acquisition syndrome.
Yes. That'll make a good episode for a podcast. It was only
today that, I saw DJI have put out their new drone, another one, because of why not? They put them out more often than I have steak dinners, but and of course I want it.
What is it?
I want it. It's a DJI Air 3. Air 3. Looks fantastic from a photographer's point of view.
But that's not in your bag, is it though?
No, it's not. I do have a drone in my bag, but anyway, where should we start? Can we going to go one for one, or we just go through my bag, through your bag? What do you want?
Well, how about, I reckon, and again, one unrehearsed as always, I reckon we go from like the top down. So let's start with what camera body you have.
Okay.
And then maybe what lenses you have with it that goes with them. So
okay, well, I carry a decent sized backpack.
Yes,
which is got so it's a big low pro backpack, and it's got room for two bodies. So I carry two bodies with me at all times. Right. And the main reason I do that is so that I don't have to switch lenses in a hurry. And most photographers, pros and serious amateurs, would do that. Or if you can afford to have two bodies, you should. So I suppose my Olympus 1D, what's it called? EMX1 or EM1X. Okay, let's get this right.
You'll get there eventually.
I have an Olympus EM1X, which is, I suppose the reason I'm putting that at the top is it's the most expensive one, I guess, but whatever. And I have an EM1X and I have the Olympus OM5. Now, the OM5 people will be familiar with on this channel because that's the one that I bought to take on the overland track, which was the genesis for me switching back to Olympus in the first place, because I needed lightweight, weatherproof gear. And the OM5 said, hey, buy me. And I went, yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. So I carry an OM5 and an EM1X. What are your bodies, Cam?
So this is where it's going to be a bit tricky for me because I have too many cameras that I
Let's go with
play around.
your go-to. Like, this is
All right,
right. That's I'll take this.
Okay, so for example, I went out the other day down to the tessellated pavement to do a shoot like you did tonight with the sunset. I did a sunrise the other morning, and this is what I took down. So my go-to camera that I reckon I shoot 90% of my stuff on would be the OM1, the Olympus OM1.
Yep.
But I also have a Leica M11, which is a beautiful camera, but it's a bit too expensive to go taking around salt water and things like that. So that doesn't come out as frequently, but it's in the bag most of the time. But whether or not I use it all the time, it's there. But I like to have those two with me. One, because the Olympus is got image stabilization, autofocus, weatherproofing, all that kind of stuff. So that's a really great camera for those moments where you just got to get in and get dirty and get the shot. Where the Leica comes out, if I see a shot like behind me, this beautiful forest where I can take my time to set up and take a shot and get it all right, then I might use that one as well. So they're probably the two camera bodies that I take out with me. Both lightweight, which is easy. You can sort of take two systems and still be, well under the normal weight of what you might expect.
Yeah, and this is where I battle a little bit with the EM1X because it's a behemoth. I find the EM1X quite ironic because Olympus have always been about lightweight, micro four thirds, and then they chucked this bloody beast EM1X,
practically a full frame camera.
Well, that's right. I mean, I would argue it's probably bigger than some full frame cameras, but the one thing I love about it is how it holds. So I've got those big stupid man hands there. So I really like the grip on the EM1X, and I love the fact that, and we'll just segue into what lenses we carry, that I can keep the 100 to 400 clip to the front of it at all times. Leave it in burst mode, leave it in. It's my wildlife shooter. And what I've been able to achieve over the last month really with shooting with that is I'll be out on location. I'll have my OM5 with a wide angle lens, which I'll tell you about in a sec, but I'll have the EM1X sitting there for that moment when you just find the landscape in a landscape with your naked eye. You just go, there's a shot there. And the amount of times I used to go out shooting with purely my old Nikon 5100 or whatever it was, with the 10 to 20 on it, because I'm a landscape shooter and I was kept like, right, landscape, wide angle. Blah, blah. The amount of photos I would miss and get so bloody frustrated because I didn't have a bigger zoom lens with me. I've revolutionized that, and I'm absolutely enamored with the kit I've got at the moment. I love it. It's got, that really good balance between ultra wide angle and just grab the camera. So tonight, here's a prime example. The sunset was going off. It was beautiful color, deep reds, oranges. It was one of the nicer sunsets of the year. And I'm on the river at between Ocean Grove and Barwon Heads. I wasn't at the bridges this time. I've done the bridges. I wanted to come back from there. I was a bit further upriver, and they've got the little pylons that are sitting out in the river, the channel markers basically, and they're beautiful. They make really nice subjects, but of course with the wide angle lens, I'm getting nowhere near it. So as the sunset's going off, grab the EM1X with 100 to 400 on it and just zoom on in and just get nice tight shots with beautiful, red clouds and stuff behind, but, isolating subjects within that frame. And again, you're looking at a massive landscape, but then you can just zoom right on in and just pick out little parts of it that tell the story rather than the atmospheric story. They actually give you detail within the story you're trying to tell. It has, again, revolutionized the way I shoot landscape, and I'm really, really glad I've got it now.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I just sold mine yesterday. My 100 to 400.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I agree. Like I don't generally.
But hang on a minute. Wait. You're bearing the lead here. Don't you have another lens on order that might trump the 100 to 400?
I do have another lens on order that will definitely trump. Yes. So it's funny. Like,
can't wait to borrow it off you.
Yeah. So the OM1 again, like I totally see what you're doing with the two lenses and two cameras and two bodies. And I agree that works really well. And I sometimes set myself up with that with, like, I've got the EM1X as well and things like that. But I find that having two lenses there, it gets a bit awkward for me. Like, even if it's sitting down on your bag next to you or stuff like that, it's just more things I got to think about. So I'm more of the opinion that I try and just change lenses as it's happening. But having said that, I've missed moments where I'm like, oh shit, that bird just flew past, that eagle. I could have got that if I'd had the other lens on there. So so that's one thing that I'd probably do different to you, is I don't have those two bodies technically set up for different things. One thing with the Leica camera that is very restricted is it's a very slow camera to use. So it's manual focus. Everything's manual. You got to sort of do it all slow. And the longest focal length I have for that is 90 mil. So even if I wanted to have that second camera set up to do those, like you said, landscapes within landscapes, it's not going to reach there. So I rely on the Olympus a lot more than I probably do on the other camera. One thing I do notice over the years when I've had like the Fujis and the Leica and the Olympus, and again, I harp on about Olympus and people probably say, shut up, Cam, we've heard enough of it. But for me, it's the camera that makes me take more photos and better photos. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like you said, the size of my hands are smaller. Maybe it's the way that the system works. Maybe it's the weatherproofing. Who knows? But I always come back from a shoot, if I'm using that camera, with more shots under my belt that I'm happy with than, say, the Leica or the Fuji or whatever it might be. So I think, and I guess everyone will be the same. Like I know mates have got the Canon and the Nikons, and they swear by them. That's the camera I love. And I guess once you get to a point where you probably just cross over that little hump where you're really in tune with that camera, and that's what you get used to using. So yeah, so I don't have two setups in regards to lens focal length. I swap as we go along. But if people do have the ability to run two bodies with one long lens and one wide lens, it definitely can save your bacon if something really impressive happens. And exactly like you said as well, with the landscapes, within landscapes, even tonight looking out my window, there's some really beautiful light in the mountains. And I have my camera gear down here in the office and I have my Leica upstairs. I'm like, there's no point. I can't get that shot with the 90 mil. I need like a 300 mil to get in there. So it is handy to have that extra focal length ready and raring to go, for sure.
Yeah, it is. And the other point I'll make with the gear thing is like carrying two bodies. It's impractical if you're hiking. So
totally,
and obviously the OM5 was the one I took hiking. The overnight hike I did on the Great Ocean Walk as I was training for the overland, I took the 100 to 400 with me.
You did. You walked with it, didn't you?
I did walk with it, and it didn't worry me at all. Strapped to the OM5, it was fine. The M1X, no, I wouldn't do that on a hike. But having it on the OM5 opened up all the wildlife to me. So I would have been so frustrated because we saw echidnas, koalas, kookaburras, snakes, everything. It was brilliant. Bird life, all kinds of bird life. So I was really happy that I took that. But yeah, you've got to be careful. It's like, right, I'm not going to drink any water today because I've got to carry this massive body of the camera. But when I'm out in the van or I'm on the beach and I can just chuck it all in the backpack and I'm only going to walk maybe 2K, happy days, no problems at all.
Yeah. So if we move on to lenses, obviously what's in our bag. So lens wise, is how many lenses would you take out on a shoot with you? For example, tonight with the sunset, did you 4? So do you just have a kit that you have ready to go every time?
Yes, I do now. So now this is one thing again where I've revolutionized the way I do photos. And that is always having my kit. I'm actually starting to get a little bit OCD with it, actually. I need to know that it's charged. I need to know. Now, little aside, do you remember, I reckon it was about episode 3, I gave this hot tip about keeping an SD memory card in your glove box?
Yes. Yeah.
Did it work? Guess what happened to me tonight?
You needed the SD memory card in your glove box.
I couldn't believe it. And given how OCD I've become with my gear, got the OM5 out, wide angle, turned it on, no memory card. Are you kidding me?
Well, you may remember on episode 3, maybe it was,
whenever it was,
I had the Leica M10R at that stage, and I told you a story where I went up to Craig's hut to do a sunset. And I got up there and I had to take the memory card out of my sat nav of my car to do it all.
That's right.
The new M11 has a 64 gig inbuilt memory. So you don't need a memory card at all.
Hallelujah. And so about freaking time.
So like the other day, my memory card filled up because I was just been shooting on it for ages. I'm like, oh, crap. I'm like, oh, hang on. I've got 64 gig left. Bang. Problem solved.
Keep taking photos. I actually can't believe it's taken camera manufacturers that long to
why is no one else doing
some kind
that?
of built-in. I don't know, man. Like it's an odd one, isn't it? I mean, Sure.
Like if cut like the size of a memory, like if you go by the size of a memory card, surely they can slot something like that into the CPU or something like that. So
and if you break open a memory card, have you ever done that?
Yeah. No, I never have actually. No.
Yeah. Inside a memory card, about a third of the space of the card is used for memory. The rest is just a plastic shell.
Right.
Memory cards are tiny.
So why are these manufacturers not doing it? Anyway,
look at a micro SD card, for example. You can now get a 1 terabyte micro SD card.
That's nuts.
Why can't that? Yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe it's a sweetheart deal with SanDisk. Who knows, to sell more memory cards. But yeah, it's interesting. So we digress.
But getting back onto so you take a kit out with 4 lenses. So what 4 lenses are in your kit?
Okay, so starting at the widest angle, should we do that?
Let's do that.
So the 8-25, which again was the purchase I made with the OM5 to do the overland with. Very, very happy with that lens. That's an f4 lens. It's a landscape photographer's dream. So effectively in 35mm speak, it's my 16-50. So it covers a great range. I think 16mm is a fantastic angle for. That borders on the ultra wide status, 16mm. So for me, and I could be wrong, and I know you will probably tell me that this is wrong, but I feel I feel like it mimics my peripheral vision. So what I see out here, not necessarily what's in focus, which is right in front of me, but out here, the 16mm generally mimics that. So when I frame up a shot in my mind's eye, I can put the camera up and go, yep, that's going to pretty much cover that angle. So I start with the 8-25. I have a 20mm f1.7 Panasonic micro four thirds lens with me as well, which when it's on the OM5 is an ideal street shooter. It's perfect just to sling over my shoulder. If I find myself in Melbourne in the alleyways or any cities in the alleyways, it also, of course, is a really nice portrait lens as well. So, absolutely. So I have that. I also have now just added the 60mm macro, the Olympus 60mm macro, which was a great addition.
Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. f2.8. I can't believe it's only $700 or $600, whatever it is. It's such a bargain.
That is a great lens, that little 60mm macro.
Which of course, you go.
I was just going to say, like, it's obviously an Olympus branded lens, so it makes it a bit tricky for other people to go buy it for their camera. But if you ever get the chance to play around with one, they are just super light, amazing detail. They're a really cool little lens, and
which effectively
definitely underrated.
Underrated, which makes it a 120mm macro in 35mm speak. And I always rated, when I used to shoot a bit of Canon, their 90mm macro was a really cool focal length and a very popular lens, also f2.8. So I think that's where I got the what's the word I'm looking for? That's where I got. That's why I liked that focal length to begin with, because I used to use the 90mm macro, and now I'm using effectively a 120mm macro at f2.8, which also doubles as a great portrait lens. So
or get into the landscapes a bit more as well.
It does, because it gives me that little bit of extra reach. And then, as I said off the top, the 100-400. So that's my 4 lenses that I carry. The 100-400 is by no means Olympus's fastest lens. I think it's
or lightest,
or lightest, 4.5 to 6.3, but it is freaking sharp. And I've been I'm quite comfortable now with those 4 lenses. I think that covers a really good range for me. I own other lenses, but they're not in the kit. They're not part of the what's in the bag.
What's not weights in the bag? What's in the bag?
No, that's right. So that's the 4 I would take. Over to you, Cam. What lenses do you generally take?
So at the moment on my OM1, I'm actually shooting with the 8-18 Panasonic Leica lens. So for those that don't know, Panasonic can make the same 4/3 mounts as Olympus do. And the other reason I bought that lens is because it's actually a little bit lighter than the 8-25, but it's not as weatherproofed. It does go down to 2.8 at the widest focal length, which is great. So I use that lens quite a bit. I've got the 8-25, and I sometimes will take that out as well, like interchange. The other little lens I like, which I've actually got here, which is the little 75 1.8 lens. Lovely. It's such a cool lens. It's not a pro lens. It's one of their lesser ones, but I think it's the best portrait lens I've ever used. I think it's really nice, and it's great for landscapes. It's great for a little bit of close-up wildlife and stuff like that. And then I take the 40-150 2.8 Pro out as well. So I generally only take about 3 lenses with my Olympus kit.
Yep.
Depending on what I'm going, I might swap out that 40 to 150 for the kit 300 f4 that I've got from Olympus. That's in the OM Day kit that I can take out if I'm going to go do sort of more wildlife specific. So they're probably the 3 I have. With the Leica, lenses are tiny. I don't know if anyone's ever seen them. They are really small lenses. So I can almost take all my lenses for that in the kit and take up as much room as Olympus and 2 lenses maybe. So on that camera, if I was going to just take out that Leica kit all together, I'd take 4 lenses that I have. And I've got the 21mm, I've got a 35mm, a 50mm, and a 90mm. They're all fixed focus, which is another reason why that system's a bit slower. You can't just zoom in and catch something on the fly. But I try and keep those lenses together. If I'm going to go out, I'll take all 4 of them. But yeah, so I'm the same as you. I have a wide angle, which is at 8mm sort of wide. And then I have that 75 1.8, which is great. I do miss out a little bit on that middle frame. So if I want something around about 50mm or 60mm, I sort of miss out a bit. But I guess one of the benefits of that system is that if I can easily just put in the 12 to 40, which is the 24 to 80 equivalent, I could easily put that in a bag and it's a couple of 100 grams extra. So that's pretty much what I would shoot with that. Now, as you were talking, I did a bit of research too, because, I'd like to work on the fly.
I like it.
So you're talking about your peripheral vision. So most people would know that males and females actually have a different angle of view. The males actually do see more peripherally, if that's a word, than what females do. And I think there's some, ancient history as to why that happens. But so on average, a male will see up to about 160 degrees in their peripheral. The 8 to 25 lens at its widest is 107 degrees angle.
Right. So not even close.
Well, close-ish, fairly close.
It's out there. It's out there.
Yeah. Don't ask me what women see, peripheral vision, but most of the women I know, they've got eyes in the back of their head, so they can see. That's right. 360,
360, mate. Exactly.
360 degrees. All right, so lenses covered. What else do you take out? Obviously, memory card when you remember it.
Yeah. Saved by the memory card in the glove box tonight. Yes.
Yeah. A battery. Do you just go out with one fully charged battery, or do you have another one?
Generally speaking, because the EM1X runs 2 batteries, when that sucker's fully charged, I'm good for a weekend. It's fine. It'll just keep on trucking.
That's right. Yep.
I actually haven't got a spare battery for my OM5 yet.
Right.
I borrowed yours when we were on the Overland.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
But there'll be one coming. I'll definitely chuck in a spare battery for the OM5. The great thing about the OM5 is it does charge on body, so I can plug it straight into a power pack.
Yes.
And in my bag is always a power brick.
Yes, agree.
20,000 milliamp hour power brick that stays in there with the right cable, obviously to charge up my OM5.
So that's something else that I think is worth touching on. And I think some people might not always know what a power bank is.
Yes.
So I've had a few people on workshops and trips go, "What's that thing you've got there? It looks like a phone." So a power brick is pretty much just a big battery, but they're generally about the size of an iPhone.
Yep.
And you can get them in different milliamp ratings. So, for example,
I think mine's outside anyway.
Yeah, I do. I don't have one here, but so for example, the Olympus battery, I think that's around about sort of 5,200 milliamps as a battery.
Yep.
So yours is a 20,000 milliamp battery. So what it can do is charge that battery 4 times probably.
That's right.
Or top it up as you go along. So for those who, depending on what camera you're using, a lot of the newer cameras coming out now have got USB charge, which is great. Both the Olympus and the Leica I've got do. And I'm the same. I take a battery charger and I take the right cable as well, as you said. And what I do is I have that ready to go all the time. So if you're not sure what they are, they can charge anything that has a USB connection or USB-C connection, whatever it might be. You can charge off these things. So your phone, your camera battery, whatever it might be. So so I'm the same. I usually take, I generally these days, I take the battery that's in the camera charged and the power bank and the cable. Because if I need to top it up, I can. I don't take an extra battery, which is a bit silly in a way because if one of the batteries is faulty or, I do something and drop it and lose it, I'm sort of without a camera. So cool. So if you have a look in your bag, do you have any filters? A lot of filters.
I do. So so I really now only carry one filter in my bag. because my lenses have UV filters fitted to them anyway.
Yep.
So I keep UV filters on my camera, on my lenses at all times, mainly just to obviously protect the lens itself, because I'm a clumsy klutz, and I've dropped cameras many times. I've bumped them into rocks. I've done all kinds of stuff with cameras. So I do keep a UV on it. The only other filter I carry right now is a circular polarizer for the 8-25, and that is it. Because I now own a system that has built-in ND filters. So the ND filter that's built into the OM5 will give me a ND16, which is fine for what I want to do. I don't. For ages, I used to carry, I don't know, like an ND 1000 or some crap, and it was ridiculous. Like, I was able to do a 30-second exposure in broad daylight. Yeah. And I don't know. The novelty wore off real quick.
Yeah, you know what? I wish that novelty had worn off for a few others, because people still go. I call them the showstoppers. Like, so they're a 10-stop neutral density, which will apply a factor of 10 to your shutter speed. And people, in my opinion, it created lazy photographers. So your shot behind you, it looks like it's sort of mid-afternoon type of thing. People that go to that same spot in the middle of the day in the harshest light with direct sunlight, put on a 10-stop filter and get like a 30-second exposure. And it just became the point where that's all they ever did. Like 10 stops, set it up in a way they go. And then people used to rave about how good they look, but they plays around with contrast. It gets things look a bit funky in your shots and stuff like that. Yeah. So with the polarizing, do you not have polarizers on your other lenses? There's only the 8-25. Okay.
I don't generally. I find, particularly on the 100-400, it doesn't have a desired effect for me, the polarizer. It's got to be really particular light. There will be times, I think, if I'm shooting in the Otways, for example, where I want the nice greens of the rainforest, then I might. Now, I've got a sneaking suspicion that the thread on the 100-400 is the same as the 8-25 anyway. So
that's where I was going. I think it is.
So I'm pretty sure I can just swap them in. So that's no problem. So I'll carry one filter.
I'll tell you what I've got. I'm gonna hang on. I'll go screen for a sec. Now, this is not a plug. This is not a plug for a company or anything, because I think they do an amazing job. But I'm not going to plug them because I'm not on their payroll or anything like that. They're called H&Y filters.
H&Y. Okay, yeah.
H&Y. And what they do, they've actually got a really clever system of filters. And this one, and sorry for those guys listening at home who can't see jack shit about what I'm about to do, but this is what they call, it's a circular polarizer. But on the back, you might be able to see this if I do it. You can sort of see how I've shut down.
Oh, goodness me. It's got an aperture on it.
And it's an adjustable filter. So it fits on any lens between 58 mil and 77 mil. You can just clip it on the front and it locks into that.
I've never seen that before. That is brilliant.
It's called the Revo Ring, R-E-V-O Ring, R-I-N-G, by H&Y Filters. They're about $150, but what it means is you only need the one filter.
Link in description.
Look at that. It's brilliant. And they're a good brand. And
do you know what? Sorry, can I just interject? Not only is it awesome that it does what it does, do you know how much better for the environment that filter is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're buying one.
Yeah, you're not buying a whole heap. And the amazing thing about this is people go, oh, okay, it's a polarizing filter. Yes, but if you like to shoot with NDs, they do magnetic ND filters that just snap on the front. They are a brilliant little company. Really good. You can buy them online, H&Y. We'll put a link up.
We definitely will.
It's a great little thing. So I keep.
We're
not
on the take from H&Y. We are not.
No, if they want to sponsor the show, they want to give us free shit.
That's right.
Go for it.
Anyone who's listening, if you want to, hey,
give us whatever. But and this is no bullshit aside. This is, I can say this generally because I know you're so well, Brendan. But you and I are not in this to get sales and all this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
we're not.
if we find good gear, we're happy to share that with people. If it works for us, we know it's going to work for other people.
Well, this is the beauty of me running an independent camera store.
Yeah,
like I don't have to. I'll plug what I think is good, not what
You're not bent over a barrel. That's right. So so have a look at those. We'll put them in a link. But I take that in my bag because most of my filters are between 58 and 77 mil. I think I got one that was 82 mil at one stage, but I don't anymore. But what it means is that you can just go, oh, okay, I can just put that on there. You don't have to screw a lens on and screw a lens off. And they're really good. I can't fault them. They got, they render the color properly, and everything looks good in the polarized size thing. So yeah, so I have that in my kit as well.
Okay.
I'm the same as you. I have neutral densities inbuilt, but I've never been a huge ND user anyway.
Yeah.
So filters aside, what else do you have in your bag?
Well, I'm about to put in my bag tomorrow, because I ordered it today, a couple of microfiber cleaning cloths.
Yes.
I got some, I got them through CR Kennedy. I don't know, what are they called? Fiber Clear or with a K. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. They're good, high quality microfiber cleaning cloth. They're about $25 each. So they're not cheap, but I need it a lot, particularly where I am, coastal, get a lot of sea spray and that sort of stuff. So keeping the end element clean, keeping the screen clean, all that sort of stuff. So that's definitely in there. I'm probably even going to chuck in a blower brush as well, because sometimes I get little sand particles and stuff inside the camera. So that'll probably end up in the bag as well.
How much did you pay for that cleaning cloth?
About $25, I think. Yeah.
Do you know? You know where I get my cleaning cloths from?
Well, I actually had some camera and photo cleaning cloths. You might remember from episode 1, where we sent them out to people.
We did. No, I get mine from the same place I get my snag and bread.
From Bunnings.
Yeah, Bunnings actually sell packets of microfiber cloths, like 8 packets or 20 pack for like $10.
Yeah, I bought some of them. I had an issue with some of them in that the fibers came loose occasionally. So apparently
the cheap one. The cheap ones can, but you can get like a pack of 8 for like $12. But that's good that you do. So blower brush and a microfiber towel too. That's the same. I don't necessarily carry a blower brush around too much.
Yep.
But I do. Again, the Leica, that this camera I've got, that seems to attract dust. Right. But the Olympus has that that anti-shake, or the micro shake, where it shakes the sensor and shakes all the dust off in between on and off, which is cool. So yeah, I'm the same as you. I'd take that. Would you take a tripod?
Yeah. So I now have my ludicrous heavy Manfrotto 055 X Pro B tripod strapped to the side of my bag. It's a heavy sucker, but by geez, I love that tripod. It's been on a journey with me. I've had it for 15 years. It's got paint flaking off it. It's got bloody rust on it, but it's going strong, and I'm determined to run that thing into the ground.
Well, yeah, I'm the same. I've got something similar to that, but I've got one from uni days, but I don't use it anymore. I've got a little Manfrotto B Free, which is a lightweight tripod.
They're a great tripod.
They are a great tripod. They hold up to about 7 kilos, which is more than enough for what I need. So, So is there anything else that you have in your bag that you think should be essential?
No, I think that's really it. I'm racking my brain to think what else is in there, but other than, change out of my pocket, a weird key that I don't know what it fits, and a couple of cables that I'm not sure what they fit either. And every now and then I'll find a couple of lollies, a couple of
a couple of lollies. That's not a bad. Like I always sometimes put a bag of snakes in there, lolly snakes. Let me keep your energy up.
Definitely.
I got a wonderful customer, David. His name is, and he comes on a lot of my workshops, and he has a little toolkit in his bag, Allen keys and stuff like that. And the amount of times that he saved my customers' bacons when he's on the workshops, like, my tripod's come loose. Has anyone got an Allen key? I'm like, oh shit. Dave's like, I've got one. Hang on a second. He gets out of his bag and saves the day every time. So it's not a bad one to have a little Allen key set for your tripods and L brackets and stuff like that for your cameras. Something else I keep in my bag, a bit like the memory card, don't leave home without it, is the tripod plate for the bottom of the camera.
Yes.
Take an extra one of those if you can get one. But
mine generally, I've gotten pretty good with that. Mine, if it's not in use, it stays clipped on top of the tripod. So I'm not too bad at that. The other thing I was going to say was when summer swings around again, I probably will chuck a water bottle in there, and I probably will chuck in a bit of sunscreen and stuff like that as well. So cool. Yeah, that's what's in the bag, folks.
And there's probably other stuff in there, but you get the gist.
other stuff. Yeah, not photographic related, but yeah, other stuff.
Silicon bags is the only one I can think of as well. Little silicon bags. But
why don't you go ahead and tell us what's in your bag, folks? So hit us up below, and always curious to know what people are carrying.
What have we missed? What's the one thing that we should have that we don't have?
Yeah, someone's screaming at the.
I can see someone's going to go. You need a Canon.
Yeah, exactly, or a Nikon, or a Nikon,
Sony, or a Sony.
Yeah, exactly.
What are we on to? We're going 55 minutes almost.
Well, we will rein this in pretty quickly because we don't have a deer cam again. I mean, we had a run on where we had like weeks of deer cams. Yeah. But deer cam is dying a slow death if we don't get some questions. But that's fine.
We've had a couple of
we've answered them all.
Well, we've had a couple come through that are they're really, really long deer cams, and it would take a whole episode to answer. So if you are going to put a deer cam in, keep them short-ish. So we don't need to answer the history of photography and all our thoughts on it.
And next week, I implore you, I want a photography horror story. Come on, hit us up below. Tell us the time when you went out to take photos and it all went absolutely pear-shaped. We want to know all about it.
Yeah. They're quite funny to read.
But they can be good. Beer donations this week, Cameron.
Yeah, beer donations. I think we offended this person on the last episode because we called him out for not shouting us a beer. So Jenny is back with shouting us a beer. Thank you, Jenny. Although Thank you, Jenny. I don't know if our other friend has helped us out.
He would have surely.
What's the date?
You know what? He does it that often. Let's give him a shout out anyway. Mel, thanks for all your beer donations to this point. If you missed it this week, that's totally fine. We get it.
You know what? That's not good enough, Mel.
Yeah, see, I knew you'd be like that. So good cop, bad cop. Here we are.
Good cop. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you, Jenny, and thanks to everyone else who just supports the show. It's been great.
Absolutely. Now, Cameron, what have you got coming up as we wrap up episode 88?
We're doing this at warp speed, aren't we?
Well, you said we're at 55. We like to keep them around an hour. So
yeah, we know people fall off the perch after an hour and just fall asleep and not listen to them. What I got? So when this comes out on Saturday, I'll be down at Port Arthur, beautiful Port Arthur.
Awesome.
Running an OM day. The weather's looking a bit wild, which could be pretty cool down there. So that'd be good. And then next week, I'll be heading up to Cradle Mountain. We'll probably record next episode that I'm off to Cradle Mountain for a winter workshop.
Brilliant.
And fingers crossed for anyone listening who's coming along, the forecast is looking maybe like we're going to get snow on the first and last days. So that would be pretty cool. What about you?
Right.
What's that mean?
GOR. So that's right. I am heading down the Great Ocean Road on Friday. So the day that this comes out on YouTube. I wanted to get back there. It's been a while, not only to scout locations for our workshop coming up, but also just to keep taking the photos. I'm on a bit of a roll. I'm very thankful that I've been able to get out, take some photos, particularly through winter. So normally winter is a bit of a lull for me. I don't sort of get out as much. But like we said a couple of weeks ago, that's when the best weather conditions happen. So I'm going to mosey my way out through Colac and go further west and then head due south and basically pop out right next to the 12 Apostles, or the Some Apostles, as we like to call them, with the goal of shooting sunset at the Some Apostles on Friday night. So my background next week may very well be that photo, but who knows? We'll see how we go. Could be a raging dud. We'll see.
What we didn't do from last episode? We didn't send each other raw files to stuff up.
Oh yeah, well, that was if we need to.
Maybe what we should do. You're doing your shot. I'll do a shot at Port Arthur. You do a shot where you're going,
and we'll send each other the raw file and edit it ourselves.
Yeah, you know what could make a good episode?
Yes,
is us doing a video of us editing each other's shot and just taking the piss.
We could do that. The first thing you'll do is straighten my horizon. We know that.
No, I would never call out someone for having a crooked horizon.
I know. That'd be petty, wouldn't it?
It'd be pretty below the belt, wouldn't it? You've got to have not much going on in the world to be able to pick out those things actively. For sure. Yeah. Anyway,
I think there's probably a certain level of jealousy as well, but that's okay. No, anyway, that's another story. That's it. That's the podcast. We've made it through another episode, 88 episodes old. Thanks to everyone for tuning in, listening, liking, following, all that great stuff. Head to dsps.com.au to check out our merch, buy us a beer, maybe have a look at our workshops, have a look at the photography competition, or everything. It's all there. It's all there. dsps.com.au.
I hope it's all there because I run the website. I better go check. No, I think it is.
It is your baby. That's true. Thank
you. It is. It should be over there. You're welcome.
This has been episode 88 of the Down South Photo Show. We will see you for episode 89 next week. Bye for now.
Keep your horizons straight, folks.
Yes, and goodbye.
Goodbye.